From Ticker Studios, this is The Founder's Method, presented by Memo Bottle.
How do you build a personal brand that actually gets you paid?
I'm Jonno Byrt.
And I'm Leeworthy, and this is The Founder's Method. This is a show where we get into the real story behind how founders build, break, and rebuild businesses. And
today's guest is the founder of Hero Packaging and Sell Anything Online. She is one of the most respected personal brands in the Australian business scene with hundreds of thousands of loyal followers. And now she's here to tell us how to use your personal brand to get you paid. Welcoming Anaita Sarkar. Hello.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on the show. It's good to have you here.
I have been waiting to be asked, actually.
Well, we've been hanging out for the last year and a half since we met on a founders retreat.
Yeah.
But today we want to talk about your personal brand.
Yep.
So can you take us back to where it all began? You were running your business.
Yes.
What sort of made you want to start a personal brand in the first place?
Yeah, so I actually had two businesses running at that time, and I had Hero Packaging, which I had just started, and I had another business. And I remember that I was in the kind of ending phase of that business, and I just started Hero, but I was using the same strategies to grow both the businesses. And I thought, well, you know what? There's something in this. There's a pattern where even though those two businesses are so different, using those same strategies to grow both actually works. So I thought, I'm going to write a book about it. And I don't know why, because I was just having my third kid as well, and I had the multiple businesses. But I thought, I'm going to write a book, and I'm going to explain to business owners that, you know, this is how you can grow any business. And then I realized when the books arrived on my doorstep that I actually had no way of selling them. And so I started a TikTok account, and every day I would be reading from that book and posting on TikTok all the time. And the reason I chose TikTok is because no one I knew was actually on there, and I thought it was less embarrassing. And I posted and I posted and I posted, and it was at a time, it was probably about 5 or 6 years ago, where like no one was really on it talking about business stuff, so my account grew and grew and grew, and I realized that people were super interested in how to start a business and how to scale a business, and that's kind of where the personal brand started. It really wasn't because I wanted to have a personal brand. I don't even know if that was like a term back then.
Yeah,
It was
totally.
just, I want to sell my book and I don't want to run ads, so maybe if I post on TikTok, people will buy my book, and that's what happened.
Oh my God. I mean, we could do a whole episode on the book, like how do you create a book, but we won't go there.
Yeah.
So the first steps were TikTok.
Yes.
And then how long do you think it was until you started really seeing results? Like
it was actually not how long, but how many followers.
Right.
So there's two parts of it. One, I started to get more and more followers the more I posted. It actually wasn't quality of content, to be honest. My quality was terrible, but it was a volume. But then
how often were you posting?
Like, I would say about 4 times a day, sometimes 3, but that would be, you know, on a Saturday and Sunday. I had like a baby sleeping next to me, I'd still post the content. Like I would be posting religiously because I thought this is the one way where I can sell this book, and it was working. So I knew it was working when the book just started to sell, and I didn't need to do anything else other than read a paragraph from the book to TikTok, to my camera, and then post it, and people would buy the book. And I thought, this is the coolest way to do anything. But then, you know, the personal brand is like you get the followers and the followers count, but then the brand deals start coming as well. And when you talk about like the effects of it, it really started when I hit, you know, like 100,000 followers. Suddenly I realized this is actually a personal brand, because brands are coming to me to pay me to make videos for them.
Amazing. So correct me if I'm wrong, but your first brand deal was like $200, right?
Yes.
And then, so where did you go from there? What does the step ladder look like to get bigger and better deals?
Well, when the first brand came to me and said, how much do you charge? I had no idea. So I was like, $200, that's awesome. Imagine making a 30-second video getting paid $200 for that. So I went $200. Immediately it was like, within a minute, they were like, yes, we'll pay it. And I thought, oh, that was so easy. And then I saw a TikTok video the next day, and there was a creator at the time. I don't know if you guys know him. His name is JT Barnett. He's in America. I saw a video of his, and he had the same amount of followers at the time as me. He did marketing and business content. And I remember the video saying, you know, I don't do any brand deals for less than 5,000 USD. And I thought, well, same now. So then it actually went straight up from $200 to the next time someone asked me, I said $2,000, and they said yes. And I remember thinking, there's no regulation, there's no rules. I set my value, and it's within, if it's within that person's budget, then they'll say yes to that. And so when you talk about a step ladder, it actually went from 200 to 10xing it overnight, simply because I asked for it. And it really helped me to go, I think I have some value here. And so depending on what they're asking me, if it's a small business asking me, I'll charge less. But if it's a big brand, I will charge my actual value or my actual worth. And so the stepladder, I would say, is there is actually nothing more to it than the volume of content, even to this day. The more you post, the more followers you get in that specific category, the more that brands come to you and will actually pay you to make videos or speak on stage or be on panels or go on podcasts or whatever it is.
Would you say that there's a step ladder in terms of the product and services that you're offering as you grow over time as well? Like what would that start at as someone like building their personal brand for initially?
So, you know, a lot of the time what people do is they go, right, I think I've got some value. Maybe I'll open up some one-on-one calls. And I remember starting one-on-one calls because I got asked about it. Like, do you do calls? Do you mentor businesses? And I go, I guess, yes, I do.
No, we do.
And so I said, well, for an hour it's $150, and they said yes, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. The problem with getting paid for content is that you get too big for your boots. And you end up doing content that is wrong for what you originally started with. And it's okay to pivot, but when you start to go towards, I want to get paid, your content starts to shift as well. And then your original audience doesn't really want to stick with you. So the point of it all is to realize what gets you good content for brand deals and good content to grow your followers, and then good content for your actual followers. And so I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize how to do.
For sure. And so I assume you're like highly selective about the types of brand deals that you do.
Yes.
Like how do you go about choosing that and making sure that it's in line with your own personal brand?
I think it's mainly if I actually use the product or the service. A lot of the time they're tech companies or you know, tools or something like that. So I have to test it and I have to really like it. Another one is if I know of the brand and I've heard really good things about the brand and I've always wanted to switch over to them, that's another reason I'll do it. But I think in my inbox, and I'm sure you guys have the same thing, in my inbox I have so many brands who are saying, hey, well, you know, we have a paid post for you, paid post for you, paid post. The problem is, like, you know, you can get that money, but then what happens to your followers? They're going to see your content and go, like, I actually really don't like that. I don't resonate with it. I know she doesn't use it. And then the trust is lost. So what's the point?
Yeah. Sure.
Can we talk some numbers for a sec?
Yeah.
Because I think everyone wants to know sort of what this can look like. So you're getting paid for brand deals, keynotes, podcasts, hostings. Like what is each revenue stream looking like for you these days?
So right now, so remember it's been about 5 years of doing this thing called a personal brand.
Yeah.
So speaking on stage will vary anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000. If I get asked to host a podcast, for example, then that's around $2,500 an episode. And then if they ask me to post about it, that's an extra $3,000 per post. And that's across TikTok is $3,000, and then also on Instagram that's $3,000. I don't do one-on-one calls anymore, but when I was doing it last year, I was charging $500 every hour. And what else do I do? I think, oh, and did I talk about the brand deals? So
No.
brand deals, it goes across so many things. So, you know, it's not just about your follower count right now, it's about also the engagement you get and how specific you are within that niche, and if you're really known for it, and if you can really get people to convert to trying a new tool or a product or something like that. So it really depends on what the brand is and what they stand for, but anywhere from $3,000 for a video to $8,000 or $9,000 for a video.
But you'll be posting about this show for free.
For free. 100% for free.
Yeah, I'm glad we cleared that one up. Yeah. it's live. So you mentioned before about two types of content that attract brand deals and content that builds community.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between the two, and how do you balance them as you're deciding what to post?
I think the way to get brand deals is the same way to grow your followers, and that is through value-based educational videos constantly. Are you screaming and shouting about what you know so much of? For you guys, is there something that, for example, you know that other people just don't know? You might make one video on it and then you'll stop there, but actually what you've got to do is make hundreds of videos on that thing and be known for that, and really have an opinion on that. That's the thing that's going to get you well known within the brand space, and also to get you new followers, because all of those new followers, while it's not targeting the masses. It's targeting that group of people that is like, yes, like I also have the same enemy. I also believe in that. Like that is exactly what I want. That's how to get new followers and brand deals. In terms of making sure your audience is engaged and you're actually getting high engagement, you have to, unfortunately, be a bit more vulnerable and tell the side of yourself that no one usually sees. And you have to, there's such a fine balance between showing what is really good, but also making sure that everyone feels that they can connect to the original problem that you had. And so that is really about your storytelling. So storytelling for actually engagement, but then educational to grow.
Okay, and then in terms of content itself, you've got a framework that you work off that you call Be Seen.
Yes.
What does that involve?
Be Seen, so it's an acronym, so BESEEN. So you've got behind the scenes content, and then you've got enemy content. So really talking about, I believe in enemy content so much, by the way.
Okay.
And that is like having a polarizing opinion on things. And people don't have the, I guess, bravery to do that a lot of the time because they're scared of what that means. But having an opinion that maybe goes against the grain. So we've got behind the scenes, we've got enemy content, so really what you stand for. Then you've got your experience, which is obviously storytelling and what you guys have gone through. Your expertise, things that you know that other people don't. And then the best one as well, like I love N, which is newsjacking, which is taking something that's happening in the news, anything, it could be pop culture, it could be businesses, it could be finance, it could be a tool, whatever's trending or being talked about. Using that and kind of tailoring it to what you usually want to talk about as well and your niche.
Love that framework. Are you sort of planning out that like a week in advance, a bit of a content calendar, or are you sort of just making sure that you like tick off each of those?
There is no strategy. Okay. So I'm probably the worst person for strategy, and I'm not a perfectionist by any means. So there's no spreadsheets, there's no strategy. I actually don't have like something that I want to do next week. It's today I'll go home and I will be sitting in my bed and I'll go, I want to film something and I want to tell people something, and I'll tell them right then and there. And I think that's a big part of why I have a good engaged community, because it's really about like what I'm feeling right now, as opposed to planning it out and like always thinking educational, learn something. It's actually about me and where I am right now.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, after knowing you for a few years, we can safely say that what you get is what you see with you. You are the same person in person as what everyone sees on social media, which is amazing and super rare. So thank you for today. That is so valuable, everything you've shared.
Thanks guys.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
You're watching Ticker. The Founders Method is presented by Memo Bottle. For more, visit memobottle.com.